Hi, I'm Pammy. Welcome to my closet. Hey, let's talk about something that's happened more recent history. All right, let's talk about the guy next door. He's no longer there, but the guy formerly next door. The guy known as the guy formerly next door. We first met him a few days after we started moving in. He thought we were the cleaning crew, and he came over to question us on why it was taking us so long to, clean. I'm like, no, we live here, and he in the time, it was a long conversation, a long and crazy conversation. I want to say it was a very one-sided conversation. And in that time he told us he was a drag racer. Like, he had several occupations. He was a drag racer, um which I tried to engage him in conversation on racing because I enjoyed NASCAR, and he exclaimed that he didn't know anything about NASCAR. He didn't follow any kind of racing, really. I was a little stumped. He was also a musician, and he liked his music loud, and that he played his music loud. And if we ever had any problem, not to go to the management company, but to, come to him directly, that he was a respectful guy, and, that he would handle it. And he just kept repeating this throughout this really long history. You're trying to get away, right? And the red flags are flying everywhere. So then he says that he's also running a business out of his garage. That's why he needed to move. He used to live in the complex, and then he moved to this place because it has a garage. And we'd also lived here for 8 years before we moved into this particular unit too. So we kind of had that in common. But he'd moved in because he needed the garage, because he was running a business out of his garage. He did automobile detailing and repair. And he had a lot of cars. He had a gray Passat at the time, and he had like this blue Kia, and he has this Corvette that he's very proud of, that you have to start from the outside of the vehicle. And that's why he exclaimed he was a drag racer. And he talked about this vet and how he's restoring this vet. And, as far as Corvettes go, this one is definitely not anywhere near the top of the line. Like I said, you have to start it from the outside of the car. And anyway, so he's offering to repair our car, offering to let us wash our car, even though it's a violation of the management company. And he'd been violated. I had a written violation 10 times for washing his cars outside, of his house here. And, but that was okay. He didn't care because F the management, and he just went on and on about, but he was still a respectful neighbor, and he just kept inserting all this in there, and never call the management. If you got a problem, come to me. It was just really weird. We just left like, wow. We were just, wow. I even Facebooked it. Because I was just like, wow, okay. So we just said, great. We'll just be avoiding this guy. And we did, is for the most part. I mean, he just kept inserting himself, though. He was allowing his guests to park right behind our garage door. Like, our driveway was public parking, which it's not at all. And he did that. And so the second time he did that, on Memorial Day, I walked outside and told the guy, I said, that's enough. Don't let that happen again. Like, I'm telling him, right? And not management company, okay? I'm like, no, don't let that happen again. I didn't use any F-bombs. I didn't scream at the guy or anything. I was just really firm. I said, let's not let that happen again. And he lost his mind. He came running at me, got this close to my face. I didn't move. My husband was coming up behind me anyway. I just looked at the guy. I'm like, hey, you know what? Don't let your people park in this driveway. This is common area. I'm like, it is not. It is not. It's not. And I walked to my garage and I said, like, don't park. I said, just, and he came in my house. The garage is my house. It's attached. There's just a door, it's like anybody's garage. He's in my garage, and he's telling me that he can be in there. And my husband came in, and now he's threatening my husband. And he's like, he's got fists. He's standing behind his back. He's trying to puff himself up because he's just this skinny little guy, okay? And he's, like threatening my husband, like just weirdly, inanely, calling him names, like, kitty cat. And just, my husband's like, all my husband is doing is repeating over and over again, standing firm and still. He's been in the military. He's been a bouncer at a bar for many years, not currently anymore, but he's dealt with a lot of people that are a little off, okay? And he just stood there and he just kept repeating, "Get the F out of my garage. Get the F out of my garage. Please get the F out of my garage. Out of my garage now." Or in any way, shape, or form. That's all he kept repeating to this guy. And this guy's just like, and I'm on the phone with the police. It is just like utter chaos, right? Well, that apparently, the police won't come, by the way. Police refused to come. They were too busy. I live in a small town, but it's pretty popular. Anyway, for the tourists, we call them fudgies. Yes, fudgies. They come for the fudge. But anyway, so now the police won't come, but my husband's basically handled it by standing there and, finally he said to the guy, "Go ahead and hit me and I'll just end you." And the guy was like, and he left. Calling him a kitty cat. "You're nothing but a kitty cat." That I'm bleeping myself with that kitty cat thing, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So seriously, just true. They're like red flags left on the ground, okay? We're like, oh, great. So we're not going to talk to the guy. Well, and now it's, war. He starts turning up his stereo so loud that it's literally vibrating my dishes in my kitchen. He's playing his music starting at 6:40 a.m. till 10 p.m. And he starts doing it on the weekend because he knows when management's here, okay? And so I would have to call the police. So the police would come and he would turn it down. We figured that he had a police scanner because he would turn that music down 2 minutes before they arrived. And it would take them 15, 20 minutes to arrive. But curiously, he would just so happen to turn it down. I was like, are you kidding me? Well, they did catch him. They did catch him once. They did hear it through my house without letting them, they went over there. They talked to him. I started recording him, making reports to management. I have a litany of reports to management. He started taking his car. He was convinced that headlights come around and hit our house or something. I don't even know. I have no idea. So he'd take his car and drive it where he could get it and, and pull it out. I mean, it would be in the way, blocking other vehicles and stuff in the road, and point his car, or its truck actually, at our house. It was a little truck, and like a Sierra or something. Put it in our house and turn the brights on and just leave it sitting there. I was like, all right, Christine. Just like, we didn't the only reason I even knew that he did that was I had got up to go get a drink of water and stepped into another room and realized really what was going on. I mean, like, really hadn't, I guess we were subtly aware that there were headlights. There was like, our room was brighter. It was not actually shining in on us like he thought. But when I walked past another room, it was shining, okay, more. And it made me look, and I was like, are you kidding me? Dude next door. All right, so to get the story on, because we're only 10 minutes into this 9-minute story that lasted from 3 weeks, over 3 weeks. Now we go for walks. He come out of his house, and he started saying that our dogs were bothering him, and he started calling them little rats. Every time my husband came home or in the garage, he'd like stare him down. Or he would say something to him like, F you, and don't call the cops on me again, and you'll see. And he started walking around. I have videos on my Ring equipment. We had a Ring doorbell, and he started coming close. Close enough to our house for no reason. He just started walking around our house trying to look at our windows, and the Ring doorbell was catching him. So we ended up getting a whole Ring security system, because all this ultimately led up to this dude setting it up out front of our house. He pulls up front of our house, and there's a road there. It's just a two-way road. It's not a parking place or anything, okay? He parks out there and pretends that he has to carry some stuff to the back of his unit, all right? It's a laundry basket with pieces of molding, like, floor molding, the wall molding for near the floors, the lightweight, they're about this long. In fact, they look like they're from here, from this actual apartment complex. Well, it turns out they are. They had not taken the molding out because they were giving the guy a new floor. I had no idea though. This till weeks, maybe a month later, 2 months later. But yeah, they had the floor moldings, and he put them in his laundry basket and then pretended that he needed to carry these things from his truck through the short, what would be he was going to explain it probably as the short way to the back of his house. And so he's literally unloading, like he's trying to unload these things from his truck. These things that he'd taken from his house, okay? He put them in his truck, then took them out of his truck, put them in a laundry basket to carry them around the back of my house to the back of his house. When really they were already in his house, and all he had to do is step out his door wall and set them down, okay? So this is how he set it up. Gets his truck pulled around there. We go out. We don't know this, all right? But this is what he's done. We're gone. We have taken the dogs for a walk, and he knows when we take the dogs for a walk because they get super excited and they bark. They bark 2 or 3 times a day when we take them out. They don't do it in the morning really, but they bark. And so he knew, he got the bark signal, and while we were gone, he set up his truck and his moldings and everything and waited for us to walk up. Now I have a full video of this, which the police have. It's actually posted to Facebook, but it's on a private setting. I just did that to preserve it. I put it up to Facebook while we were waiting for the police to arrive, because he came out and he called my husband a kitty cat, and he hit him, got his bird out, took out his bird, and like hit him like in the back of the head. And my husband's like, "Don't touch me, don't hit me." And he's like, "I didn't hit you." And next thing you know, he's trying to, do this maneuver with my husband. And I'm videotaping. I want all this in the video because I'm done with him. I want the cops to do something about this guy now. This is ridiculous, right? I am videoing everything. And he reaches around and pulls out of the front of his maybe the back, out of his shirt. I'd have to look at the video because I was actually videoing, more concerned with videoing and telling my husband not to hit the guy because we didn't want any, how you do something in self-defense and suddenly you're the criminal. So we didn't want anything like that to happen. So my husband, he's going to take it, but he's got his fists up, but he's, protecting himself. And guy pulls out a gun and literally holds it to my husband's head. And my husband does some kind of crazy move and like whoosh, 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 and knocks the gun. So the guy loses control. The neighbor loses control of his gun. I don't mean to laugh because he's an idiot. What's he doing? Okay. Loses control of his gun and then puts his gun in his pocket. This is his back pocket, okay? Puts his gun in his back pocket. And I wouldn't be very good at testimony, would I? Because it's all on video. Like, I just knew I was doing that and that that was my eyes, that was going to be the truth of it. Okay. And so I just was really relying on my camera. I did not know he'd pulled the gun until later on. So then I get silly. So he disarms him, and the guy puts a gun in his pocket, and then he's like, no, I don't have a gun, and no, I didn't hit anybody, and I'm just recording all this stuff. After he's hit me, he just popped him. He's coming for my whole head and face and camera, trying to knock it out of me, and he hits me, my hand, my face, the camera, everything hits my face. Okay. I'm like, you hit me. You're still going to jail. And I think I'm using the MFer and I mean my mouth. Your Honor, under stress. I'm Ricky Gervais. I'm Robin Williams. So, yeah. So I'm like, we get to, we're recording. I'm recording. I get done, sort of done recording, but you get still on video where my husband says, yeah, I can't believe that MFer pulled a gun. I said, he did what? He goes, yeah, he pulled a gun. And I turn around, I'm like, you pulled a gun, MFer? I would want to put this video up, and I feel like I can because I'm giving you an educational situation here, but I'll just let you watch the whole thing for yourself, kind of a thing. But the guy, because here's where it gets really sticky. Finally, all this is over. Forget the details. I mean, I'm crouched over him. We're waiting for the police. We figure he's going to start shooting through the walls. My husband, I'm like, stay away from the windows. And the first thing that I wasn't looking out the windows. He's looking, and it was just like, it was scary. It was chaotic. But really, really scary. And I really have after when I see the video, I don't watch it. I've probably only watched it 4 times and have not really watched it recently. Because it's very upsetting because he literally had this gun like this to my husband's head. But my just reached up and was like, I was like, geez, Steven Seagal. Our friends were like, hey, Jim. I was like, it's not funny. Anyway, so cops came, blah, blah, blah. They see the video and they take the guy to jail. Guy's in jail for 10 days. They let him out on his own recognizances, despite the fact he has a record of not showing up to court. He gets charged with 4 felony assault charges, okay, including 2 with a weapon. And they let him go. 10 days after they let him go, he went a few counties down and was arrested and is charged down there with domestic violence. But they didn't do anything because he broke his bond. They just let him out. All right. And then he showed up to court to try to get his deposit back at his apartment. Then, seriously, this is just the most insane thing, right? He moved into a mobile home. All right. Moves into a mobile home. Like I don't know. It's a GMC something. I can look it up because he's selling the darn thing. Yeah, he's selling the darn thing all over Facebook. All right. So for cheap. I don't know. He's still in town, but the last notice I got was that he's on the lam. Yeah, the man's on the lam. Apparently, he didn't show up because... I know, I keep saying because he went to court and he did something where he tried to get rid of his lawyer and acted all crazy, and they decided that they needed to give him a forensic exam because they weren't sure that he was stable enough to stand trial. But they let him go. They still let him go. Okay. They let this guy out. All right. So he's stalking his ex-wife or something. Somebody, obviously. He's doing, who knows what. Okay. And they let him go. So now, and we're trying to, for a while there, the advocate, which really there's no advocacy for us. We didn't get help get a therapist. We're not getting help getting the $600 back it took to wire all the cameras up and everything to our home. We're not getting any of the help that normally you would get as if it was a domestic violence. They gave us all information. The pamphlet they handed us was on domestic violence, everything. Then the guy's in a system called VINE, Violent Offenders Information System or something like that. VINE. I don't know what that stands for. You figure it out. It's a state, a nationwide thing. He is in there and all of a sudden he drops out, and he shouldn't be because he's got cases everywhere. He's still in there for one of his cases, but the other one, our case, dropped out. Then at the same time, our county lost control of its records, and you can't access records, so I can't follow the case. And the advocate, who hasn't been great, now just is answering me one question, one word answers. I asked her, please, could you help us get him back into VINE? She writes back, that's the county jail. That's all she said. She didn't give us information who to call, what to do, nothing. She just wrote, that's not us, that's the county jail. I wrote her and I said, when I first told her, I said, this guy's no longer in VINE. She writes me back, that's strange. All right, the prosecutor, I said, is this guy in jail? Whatever, what's going on? No, he's not in jail. Is he wanted? But he didn't answer that question. All right. Why is there a court? I don't know. The court made a court. You don't know why you're going to court? Oh, I see. You're busy. Turns out he's getting elected for a job. And I voted for him, though. I voted for him because he's been really good up to that point. Now I got mad at the advocate. I said, enough. I said, I don't like your snarky one-word replies, and I don't appreciate you not being an actual advocate. All right. And now they won't even answer. My husband or she won't, none of our emails on what the court was about, anything. He's still not back in the VINE. He's still running loose because he's advertising his camper all over Facebook and where to reach him. He's supposedly, run out with a bond, and I don't know what to do or whatever, because this guy is not, I don't know, he's not in the same movie the rest of us are. He just doesn't seem to be playing along as most people do in the sandbox, just standing around screaming for respect that he has not earned. He doesn't understand that respect is earned. You don't blast your music into someone's house all day long, vibrating their belongings. Dude, he played Funky Cold Medina. Seriously. So we're at this point where we don't know what happened. There was a court date just a couple days ago. No one will tell us what it was for. Can't read the court records because court records are down. Don't know where this guy actually is, but he looks like he's in a state forest campground. I don't know. I have no idea. But it is the craziest Keystone Cop thing that I have ever been through in my life. Not at all ever felt safe or secure by any of our local law enforcement by this. Well, that's not true. I had some sheriffs that were very accommodating, and so I guess sort of the police that came, they were pretty good. But for the most part, it's been just a real nightmare dealing with trying to get this guy, where he belongs. He's just running around, and I'm going to guess he wasn't supposed to have those guns in the first place. So there you go. See, stuff just happens to me. 2 cancers, crazy guy with a gun. I mean, just hold on for the ride. Thanks for joining me. I know this was a long one. I love you guys. Bye.